We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a sad update regarding WWE star Valhalla, formerly known to many as Sarah Logan. As many of you are likely aware, Sarah Logan had been included in one of the round of roster cuts or releases back in 2020 when she was working with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott in the Riott Squad, but Sarah was rehired by WWE 2 years later, where she returned under the new name of Valhalla, and for the most part Valhalla has been working with the Viking Raiders since her return, although she has worked several singles matches in the women's division as well since coming back. Unfortunately, there's some sad news to report regarding Valhalla's status with WWE, as the star had taken to her social media account yesterday to inform her fans that she would be departing WWE, with the company choosing not to renew her contract, the same situation that R-Truth and Carlito have been dealing with. Here's what Valhalla wrote to her fans in her emotional message revealing her release, quote, "I come to you with tears in my eyes because our time has come to a sudden end. WWE informed me yesterday that they are letting my contract expire. To be completely honest, my ego can't help but be damaged. You always assume that when you end a lifelong career, there is going to be a grand exit. But here I am using the Notes app on my phone, typing up a goodbye letter to an entity that will forget I was even there. I truly take no offense to this, my career as it was is getting usurped by my vocation, and it's all on a divine timeline that I trust deeply. I'll definitely miss you, but know I'll be taken care of by my wonderful husband, by the land you provided for me, and alongside the children I've made along the way. I'm going to take off the weight of being a superstar and let myself soar being just Sarah. She's been growing on me, and it's time I let her fully cultivate. I love all the people you've brought into my life, but my social media page won't be about you anymore. It will share only the parts of me that I wish, and none of that will be wrestling. I'm more of a clean break kind of girl, and the other calls to me will be taking my full attention. With all my love, Sarah." Now, while it's definitely unfortunate to hear that Sarah Logan or Valhalla has been released, it does make sense to some extent. Her release likely won't cause the same uproar that R-Truth's did, for the simple fact that Valhalla had barely even been utilized on television for the past several months. Valhalla hasn't been seen with the Viking Raiders in quite some time, and her new gimmick as Valhalla never really got over with fans to any degree, so her release is understandable if the company didn't plan on bringing her back to TV or had any major plans for her in creative. Still unfortunate to hear, and by the sounds of it she is deciding to retire from wrestling following her WWE release instead of potentially trying to move to another wrestling company like AEW or TNA. All we can say is that we wish Sarah Logan the best following her WWE release, and we hope she finds purpose in a different venture following her in-ring retirement. Now, there's a huge developing story regarding former WWE champion The Miz and his status with the company, as it appears as though The Miz is shockingly on his way out of WWE. For those of you unaware, it was reported earlier today that The Miz has unfollowed WWE as well as deleting all mentions of the company on his social media accounts. Now, the timing of The Miz doing this is what has got the wrestling world buzzing. R-Truth just announced his unceremonious release from WWE over the weekend, who was a longtime close friend of The Miz behind the scenes, and the belief is that The Miz deleting all mentions of WWE and unfollowing them on social media is indicating that The Miz will also be leaving WWE, and whether that's because of R-Truth leaving remains unclear. But there is something that wrestling fans seem to be overlooking. There is a consensus that The Miz's current WWE contract is set to expire at some point this year, and the rumor going around is that much like R-Truth, Carlito, and now Sarah Logan or Valhalla, who were informed that WWE would not be renewing their contracts, the speculation is that WWE may not be renewing Miz's contract, and instead letting the current deal expire, with The Miz essentially being released. While The Miz is a former multi-time WWE champion, and has had a very decorated career in WWE, in fact The Miz is a two-time Grand Slam champion, but considering Miz has not been utilized in a prominent position in WWE for quite some time, it really would not be that surprising if the company chose to cut ties with The Miz. Despite his current position on the card as a mid-card level talent, whose only storyline or role right now in WWE is being the hype man for Carmelo Hayes, the fact of the matter is that Miz is paid like a main event caliber superstar by WWE. It's believed that The Miz is making well in in the millions each year in WWE, and the belief is that the WWE, now led by TKO, don't feel Miz is adding anywhere near enough to the current product to warrant or deserve such a ridiculously high salary. This is the same reason why the WWE decided to release Braun Strowman at the beginning of May. Braun was earning a similar pay that a main event level talent would be making, and considering the company had no plans of seriously pushing Braun in the eyes of TKO, it just wasn't worth keeping Braun around, hence why he was unceremoniously released. A breaking backstage rumor has revealed that The Miz was recently informed by Triple H and WWE that his current deal would not be renewed when it expired, with the sentiment being that Hunter made it clear to The Miz that they still value him and want him to stick around, but that Miz would have to sign a contract for far less money, as TKO wouldn't approve of The Miz getting the same kind of contract he's had for the past few years, which they believe is unwarranted. The rumor going around is that The Miz was downright disrespected by this notion, and told Triple H straight up that he would be leaving if he wasn't at least given an extension on the deal he's currently signed to. Unfortunately, Triple H couldn't oblige and do that for The Miz, considering it's TKO who make the final call or decision on contracts, and this is reportedly what led to The Miz unfollowing WWE on social media and removing all mentions of the company. It was likely a combination of The Miz feeling disrespected by the contract he was offered to re-sign with WWE and the fact that his good friend R-Truth was unceremoniously released that has led Miz to want to leave the company, and it's really hard to blame him for feeling that way. While it's true that The Miz is mainly being featured in the mid-card these days, he's still a major star with a huge following, and is a veteran who deserves and has earned the amount of money he's been making. You really couldn't find a better example of a company man than Miz. He never complains about his position on the card or the storyline he's involved with. Miz always goes out there to try and make whatever he's given to do as great as it can be, much like R-Truth, two loyal company men who have been completely disrespected by the TKO-led WWE. Right now it's unclear when exactly The Miz's contract is set to expire, but the belief behind the scenes is that The Miz isn't going to re-sign unless he's at least given the same contract he's signed to currently, and perhaps Miz unfollowing WWE and removing all mentions of the company on social media is his final attempt to convince WWE to give him what he's asking to re-sign, otherwise he'll be leaving when the deal expires. Now let us know down in the comment section below if you guys would be upset if The Miz leaves WWE when his current deal expires, and do you believe the TKO-led WWE are making a massive mistake in letting established legends like The Miz and R-Truth go, because of the fact that they don't believe they're adding enough value to the product to deserve their current salary, or do you feel like R-Truth and The Miz leaving WWE isn't that big of a loss for the company, and that this was a good decision on WWE's part? Sound off in the comment section below.